the safe area.
Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Targeted Loot today for November 8th. The series that shows you the Targeted Loot map, farming tips and tricks, vendor reset highlights, and much more. I'm Agent Shadow, and if you enjoy my content, please consider pressing those subscribe and like buttons below. In the pinned comment, there are links to join my Discord and my Shadow Crew clan on all platforms, although we are looking for a lot more active members on Xbox and PS4, so if you'd like to join, please comment in the comment section below. Also, there's ways to support my channel like the merchandise store, joining the channel, but we'll cover more of that at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started with the Dark Zones first, and the highlights from the vendors this week, then DC, and then finally New York City Targeted Loot highlights last. Alright agents, this is just your daily reminder to complete your weekly SHD requisition for your first exotic cache and named item. And then of course for your second exotic cache and named item, you want to complete the summit on any difficulty. And then lastly, your weekly legendary mission for your third and final exotic cache is going to be at Legendary District Union Arena. And this is per character, so you can do that up to 4 different characters. Alright, let's go check out what we got in the Dark Zones. Alright agents, now we're over here at the highlights for the Dark Zones and the vendor reset highlights. So first off, I'm going to show you guys something, just 2 different things that I noticed in DC this week. So we got a chain killer chest piece with perfect headhunter over here at the White House that you can pick up. Now that rolls with weapon damage. I can't remember the second thing, and then the third one is crit hit damage. So you just want to roll off that second attribute slot for headshot damage, and it might be worth running. And then lastly, at the theater, you can pick up a pair of contractor's gloves with 8% damage to armor. And yeah, that's it for the DC vendors that I noticed. Otherwise, over here in DZ West, we got Murakami Industries as targeted loot today. This is where you can farm for the Emperor's Guard knee pads. I believe they give you 1% armor regen that's baked right into it. And that goes great with the Foundry Bulwark gear set, 3 or 4 piece. So this is highly worth farming for sure. Now over here in DZ South, we got Douglas and Harding as targeted loot. That's not really worth farming for, you know, DZ exclusive wise, because there isn't a DZ exclusive that's Douglas and Harding. But of course at the DZ South vendor, you can pick up the rail splitter with perfect accurate. And I believe that's worth picking up. It's 152 DZ resources. And of course you can get DZ resources by deconstructing loot in your contaminated bag and then extracting the DZ resources. Now lastly, we do have a DZ East pistol targeted loot today. This is the day where you can pick up the Orbit with perfect finisher on it. Definitely worth picking up. A pistol that you should be running other than the card custom pistol that gives you that extra skill tier. This would be the alternative to it. Otherwise, in the DZ East vendor, you can pick up the Carnage with perfect sadist, and that's a named LMG that you can get in the Dark Zone. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the Northside targeted loot highlights and then also the invaded missions this week. Alright agents, we're over here on the north side targeted loot highlights. So first off, I'm going to do the invaded missions for you this week. This week we got Federal Emergency Bunker, Potomac Event Center, Lincoln Memorial, and then of course the stronghold is Roosevelt Island and Tidal Basin Stronghold. Now over here in the north side targeted loot, we do got gear system mods at Camp White Oak. You just want to run this on Heroic if you want to try to get those 13% protection from Elites mods, or 12% crit hit damage, 6% crit hit chance. You know, just run it on Heroic and hope for the best. You got submachine guns at Coney Island Ballpark today. There's 2 exotic SMGs you can get, the Lady Death and the Chatterbox. Now the Chatterbox requires you to complete the quest first, so if you haven't done that, I'll put a video in the top right card now that shows you how to do that really fast. Otherwise, what you want to do is farm for a Vector variant or an MPX, or you can farm for a named SMG in the Light Zone, which would be the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider and the Swap Chain. And unfortunately, the Dark Winter and the Apartment are Dark Zone exclusives. Ongoing directive at the amusement park today. This is a great bleed build if you mix with or without Ridgeway's Pride, and I can't wait to try out a new build with the ongoing directive 4-piece. Otherwise, we got Seska over here at Manning National Zoo for that 10% crit hit chance. Kinley College is closed, and the summit you pick your own targeted loot. And as you guys can tell, I haven't been to the summit in a while. It's not really that good at loot. But comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think of summit targeted loot. Alright, let's go check out the west side. Alright, agents, we're over here on the west side, target loot highlights. I'm going to start off like usual and always with the gear sets first. So we got Foundry Bulwark over here at DARPA Research Labs. This is an armor regen, tank build that you can mix with that Emperor's Guard knee pads that you can farm for today in DZ West. And then, of course, we got True Patriot at Constitutional Hall. Most people know my build video by now, but if you don't, I'll put in the top right card. It's True Patriot and Memento, and it's really good. And I put out a new build video that's even better than this, I believe. But this is a really good thing to farm for, True Patriot. And you can put it on LMG builds as well with the Pestilence. We got Future Initiative at the Potomac Event Center. Now, I didn't mention this before, but like Foundry Bulwark and Future Initiative, their chest and backpacks are still exclusive to the Iron Horse Raid. So you have to do the Iron Horse Raid to get the chest and backpack, and you have to do it multiple times as well. Otherwise, you can just farm for every piece but the chest and backpack. And Future Initiative is a healer gear set. So usually what I do is, if you don't have the chest piece, just mix it with an Alp Summit chest piece with Empathetic Resolve. I have both builds, one with the chest and one without them, and they're both almost identical. And then, of course, we got Tip of the Spear at Federal Emergency Bunker. I just never really recommend farming for this. It's really niche, and I just never use it. Alright, now for the regular loot, we got chest pieces at Bank HQ. There's two exotic chest pieces you could farm for. That's the Tardigrade and the Ridgeway's Pride. Now, of course, you have to complete the project for Ridgeway's Pride first, or you can farm in a group with someone that has it already, and just kindly ask them to share it with you, or lets people know at the beginning of the mission, hey, I'm looking for the Ridgeway's Pride and I don't have time to do the project, so if you could please share it with me, that would be awesome. We got Providence Defense at the White House. This is where you can farm for the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon. That might be worth it for a lot of people. It's probably the highest amount of damage you can get in the game. On a chest piece, of course. Now, knee pads at DCD HQ. There's two exotic knee pads that you can farm for today. That would be the Sawyer's knee pads and the Fox's, or sorry, not the Fox's pair knee pads. Yeah, the Sawyer's knee pads, and then, of course, the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads. Now, the Fox's pair knee pads you can farm for at knee pads targeted loot, but I highly recommend farming Overlord at Jefferson Trade Center today for the Fox's pair knee pads with 8% damage to targets out of cover. That's multiplicative damage, the best type of damage in the game, and it just decreases the loot pool size and gives you a better chance to actually get the Fox's Prayer instead of the Sawyer's and Ninja Bike. Now we got Sokolov at Foggy Bottom for all my SMG players out there. This is, of course, something you have to run when you run an SMG build. If you're running 4-piece gear set, then just run 1. If you're running all high-end, run 3 pieces. Grupo Sombro at Roosevelt Island, you run 1 for DPS builds and 2 pieces for explosive skill damage builds. And then Alp Summit at Lincoln Memorial, you can go for the percussive maintenance with perfect tech support, but it's odd that it's placed on a repair set. So I really just think that you should get a chest piece with Empathetic Resolve to mix with Future Initiative for a good healer build. And then last 2, we got Petrov at Tidal Basin, so you can farm for the Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor. Those are highly worth farming for if you got an LMG build, or you're stacking damage to armor with like Walker Harris & Co. And then lastly, we got Assault Rifles at West Potomac Center, so you can farm for the exotic Chameleon, which is highly worth farming for. There's a couple of named ARs like the Maniac and the Burnout. And of course, you can get one of the best assault rifles in the game. That would be the FAMAS, the Military AKM, the Carbine 7, the Police M4, and the G36 variants. Alright, let's go ahead and check out what we got on the east side targeted loot highlights, and I will let you agents go on to New York City. Alright, agents, we're over here on the east side targeted loot highlights, so let's get started off with the gear sets. We got Negotiator's Dilemma at Jefferson Plaza. This is a great DPS set, and it runs with ARs, SMGs, and LMGs, so I would definitely farm for it if you want to. And also, I got a double LMG build I'll put in the top right that utilizes 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma, and is highly worth farming for as well. We also got Aces and 8s at Federal Triangle. I always tell you guys this, one of the best headshot builds, there's 2 that I know of. One with the Punch Drunk Mask, and then one with 3 pieces Aces and 8s, 2 pieces Aralda, and 1 piece Chain Killer. And really, they're both about the same. There's few million in difference for headshot damage. Otherwise, they're about the same. And that seems to be it for gear sets over here. So let's start off with the regular loot. We do got Hana Yu at Southwest, so this is where you can farm for the Force Multiplier backpack with perfect combined arms. That's an extra 30% skill damage every 3 seconds you're landing your shots. Over here at over here at Space Admin, we got Walker Harrison Co. You can farm for the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter, always worth farming for that. Badger Tough at Air and Space, you can farm for the Zero F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable. You know, every 55 seconds you lose your armor, it completely replenishes it to 100%. We got Shotguns at East Mall, you can farm for the exotic Sweet Dreams, or you can farm for, you know, the 3 best shotguns in this game, which would be the Mop with 10% armor on kill, the Custom M870, and the Marine Super 90. We also got LMGs at American History Museum. You can farm for 2 exotics, that would be the Bullet King and the Pestilence. Otherwise, you can farm for a good named LMG. You know, there's quite a bit of them. There would be the Carnage, the Sleipnir, the Quiet Roar, the Good Times with Perfect Fast Hands, and probably my favorite, the New Reliable. We also got rifles at Viewpoint Museum. You can farm for 2 exotics here. That would be the Diamondback and the Merciless exotic rifles. Otherwise, you can farm for a good classic M1A. Best rifle damage talents to put on that would be Rifleman, Boomerang, and Ranger. And then, of course, we got holsters at Judiciary Square. There's 2 exotic holsters you can farm for. That would be the Imperial Dynasty holster and the Dodge City holster. Both of those are highly worth farming for in my own opinion. And of course, you have a named holster you can get called the Forge that gives you an extra 50% shield health. And that's like a whole extra skill tier to your shield too. And yeah, that's pretty much it that I would recommend. Let's go check out New York City Targeted Loot highlights, and then I'll let you agents go. Alright agents, finally we're over here at New York City Targeted Loot highlights. So I'm going to get started with the gear sets like usual. We got Hunter's Fury over here, Stranded Tanker. Everyone should know Hunter's Fury by now. If you like to run SMGs and shotguns, this is almost mandatory. I got a brand new build I'll put in the top right card now that utilizes 4 pieces of this and the Memento. And it's absolutely amazing. Shreds through content and tanks a lot of damage. But you are going to need to find one that is rolled really well, like with maxed out crit hit damage and weapon damage, so you can reroll that weapon damage for an armor core. We got Hardwired over here at Financial District. So this is what I always recommend for Hardwired. I like to run it with an Assault Turret Striker Drone build. And that's 3 pieces Hardwired, 2 pieces of the Hana Yu, and then 1 piece Wyvern Wear. Now we got Eclipse Protocol at Liberty Island. This is 4 pieces with the Imperial Dynasty holster. Or you can run it with the Vile Mask as well. You know, for a really good status effect build or a fire damage build. So that's just 2 amazing builds for sure. Alright, on to the regular loot. We got gloves at Battery Park. This is where you can farm for the exotic BTSU gloves, which I kind of think are slept on. I mean, you can run this with a Healing Hive or a Stinger Hive, and it absolutely makes your team overcharged and shreds through content. Otherwise, you could farm for the Contractor's gloves, but I highly recommend doing that with Petrov. And then looking like last, we got masks at the Tomb. So you can have 2 exotic masks you can farm for. That would be the Coyote's mask and the Vile mask that I was just talking about with the Eclipse Protocol. And then of course, there is a named mask called the Punch Drunk that gives you 20% headshot damage baked right into it. And I highly recommend farming for that as well. But usually you want to farm Douglas and Harding. But since it's in the Dark Zone today, I would highly recommend just farming the Tombs and try to get it here today. I'm not going to mention Bellstone Armory anymore, I think, but lastly, I'll mention it real quick. You can get the Everyday Carrier with Perfect Efficient. I don't use it personally, and I don't know of anyone who does. I did have a subscriber tell me that he utilizes it in one of his builds, but off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what it was. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Let's go ahead and go to the outro. Alright agents, well that was the targeted loot for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you would like to become a member for support and exclusive perks, which I'm actually working on a lot more exclusive perks right now, like early releases to my build videos, then go ahead and click that join button below. I'd really appreciate it. You can also grab some Shadow Gaming merchandise by clicking the link in the pinned comment and or video description below. I just lowered prices even more across the board, and I have a free promo code for free shipping for the next 2 weeks. that you can get from the pinned comment below, and of course the video description as well. And I just embroidered some hats. I'm waiting on them to actually show up in the listing, but I have some Shadow Gaming hat designs that I just put out to Teespring yesterday, and they should be out pretty soon. You can also support me on alt tech like Patreon and Subscribestar, or you can go subscribe to me on Storyfire and BitChute if you want to support alt tech, which I actually like to do, and I do with other creators. But also, there's no Division 2 content creators that are on Storyfire or BitChute, so I'm trying to diversify over there. If you're still watching this video right now to the end though, thank you. That's truly the best way to support me and whitelist me on your ad blocker. Take care, agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.